Welcome back to the channel, guys. So, figured I'd just update you guys on kind of where some stuff is at. So, a few videos ago I talked about how we're gonna get some tile put in these two fields here. Sorry, it's been windy like all year it feels like. But anyways, so they're just gonna start getting worked on that tomorrow. Here they're dropping off a bunch of tile down there, and then they're gonna have some tile here already. They got the tractor and stringer, so probably be able to come over here one of these days and kind of show you how far they've gotten and stuff. So it's the time of year again where we got pigs again. So we got 4 little anchors over there. So they're not your traditional pink pigs here. There's like, I can't remember what she said the breeds were, but got like 2 black ones, and that one's like a tan, and then that one right there is like a mix. So got all their feed stuff set up here. We got like a corn, and then we got a pig pellet that we got there, and then that one's gonna have milk in it. We always used to give them milk morning and night for a while, and that one's got water in it. So these guys should be pretty set. They got the old heat lamp here. It's not terribly cold outside, but we're in the bottom part of our old stanchion barn here, so this part it's really damp and stuff. So the heat lamp probably won't hurt them. So I guess we'll probably show you guys every once in a while as they start growing here. So we've had our pigs for a few days now, and one game they seem to really like playing is playing hide and seek. So we got 2 pigs right there, but we're missing the other 2. Now you guys may not be able to tell because it looks just like a pile of straw, but where the other 2 are is down in there. You might be able to just barely see it, but the tan one is like right there. They're both buried underneath the straw here. So I guess they like playing hide and seek, even though they're the only ones that ever hide and they never seek. So it's kind of one-sided game, but I mean, whatever floats their boat, I guess. Today, what we're working on is putting new shovels on our field cultivator. We got a bunch of them here. So basically, I said field cultivator, but it also works as a finisher. So if you guys remember last fall, I did a video where we were trying out a sunflower tillage tool for a little while, but we were only like demoing that, so we had to take that back. So now we're back to our old unit here. So a lot of these are really worn out here, as you can see. Like, they're not supposed to be real thin like that, and some of them aren't quite as bad, but there's a couple, like this one's all jacked up here, and then there's a decent amount that definitely need to be replaced. So me and Duke are gonna work on that. He's just finishing putting a tire on here that we had to put on. Had a flat one last year, and then so we just got it fixed up, and we're gonna put that on, and we're gonna be ready to go here. So we're gonna work on replace a bunch of these, and then this should be able to go work some fields here eventually once it gets dried up. It's a few days later now. We got sidetracked and changed our plan of what we're trying to accomplish. So before, we were just going to replace some of the shovels here, and then we kind of figured that if we're going to replace, we were going to replace like about half of them. So we figured while we're that far, we might as well replace the rest of them, because the ones that we didn't replace probably wouldn't do a very good job anyways. So it's raining outside now, so we're gonna pulled in the shop here, and we're gonna work on it in here. So we'll get like half the ones on this swing on. Those ones are all completely off, and we gotta take all the ones off the bottom off and put the new ones back on. So it'll take a little while, but once we get going, it shouldn't be too bad. So I got all the bottom shovels taken off. So if you guys seen in the clip I had, so I left it in. I had to skip some of them. Some of them you just round a square piece off that makes it so they stop spinning. It gets rounded off, so then you just have to grind them off. So my dad came and grinded some of them off that I took it off. Now we're gonna work on putting all the bottom ones on. He had to put all the side ones on while I was taking the bottom ones off. So should be able to get this done pretty quick here. So I figured I'd explain myself a little bit better what I was talking about in that last clip. So basically what the bolts for these shovels are is they got square pieces on the end here. It's square all the way around. So that way when you're putting the bolts in, you have your bolt in from this side here, and it's got that square head. It's in this square piece here, so that way all you need is to put your bolt, your nut on, and then you can just use your impact. You don't have to try holding the wrench on there and stuff. So that's what happens. So then what will happen is if you get stuck, if you start rounding it off a little bit, you'll round this off here and it'll just sit in the hole here and spin, so then you just have to grind stuff off. But we got everything taken care of here, so we got everything on. So really all we need to do now is just grease the piece and it should be ready to go. We're got for sure one field that we want to put into hay that's gonna get worked. That was beans last year, so that way we'll probably for sure take that across here pretty quick. But the rest of our corn ground that's gonna be going back into corn, we have to haul out of our pit yet, so that'll probably be a little bit yet. So it's the next day now. At the beginning of the video, I talked about how we're gonna work on tiling some of these fields. So my dad's got a couple of people that we know that he helps tile sometimes, and so he had them come out and they're gonna work on tiling these two fields. So they just did a main, 6-inch main here that they brought down the field, and then they've got these marks where we're gonna have 4-inch that goes down that way. So they're gonna, I'm not sure what the plan really is, because Duke and I just got here. We had to drop some extra stuff they had left over from a different job off, but just figured I'd show you kind of how they're going. So we might be able to get this part of the field done, then we got our other field over here that they gotta work on. Well, Dad helps them guys tile and stuff. Duke and I are working on different projects, so we've been working on cutting trees that were pulled down so that way that were overhanging our field a lot around this woods here. Working on it for a while. Sorry about the wind. It's windy like it has been all year, it feels like around here. But we're on the home stretch. We've done everything on that side of the woods and on that side of the woods. So now we just got to the back side here, but it's kind of a pain because everything's like all twisted up and stuff, so it takes a little while, but probably won't be able to quite get it done because we only got one person cut most of the time while I just get stuff untwisted with the skid loader. But we'll see what we're able to pull off here. So it's been a couple hours here and we've got about half of what we had left done here. So if we come back down here for another day, we'd probably be able to get a lot of this done here. It's just so hard with it all twisted together, and there's just a lot of wood in a small area. So we're gonna work on a couple other things here, but we got a decent amount done here. So like I said, one more day where we come out here, just go at it, we probably get almost all this done here. So I'll show you what the net production is for the next day. So I came back out here to show you how far they are. So basically they're about halfway down to this field. So how tile works is basically you have like a main line that, like this one here, they put one in, there's a ditch like right here. So you have a main line that goes to the ditch, and then that line is 6 inches wide and it goes all the way that way. And then they have the smaller lines that they're running the whole length of the field that are 4 inches. And basically everything's sloped down to this line, and then that line's sloped into the ditch. So that's how you have everything get drained out of the field. So it's the next day now. So we came back down here yesterday after my dad was done tiling, and we worked on cutting the rest of the trees up and stuff. And so we started our brush. We had a big pile of brush that was like, came all the way out here, but we lit that on fire, and we had another one on the other side of the woods here that we also lit up. So I'm gonna work on moving some of these stumps here because we want to be able to get those at least in the woods here. And then my brother's gonna come down, he's gonna stir this fire up and the other one up, so that way that keeps burning all that stuff up. And then he's gonna work on cleaning up extra sticks and brush that got didn't get picked up yesterday because we finished in the dark, so it was kind of hard to see everything. So he's gonna work on doing that, so that way this stuff's all somewhat cleaned up, so that way we can work with this field here eventually here. So I figured I'd finish the video off with showing you where they are at with tiling here. So they got this field completely done today, and then they started working on this field here. So as you can see here, there's a lot more tile close together. So what they did, I'm pretty sure this field had like no tile in it. So they did like tile every 30 feet. I think that's what they said they were doing. So that way, that should be good to go, where you shouldn't have to put any more tile on that ever again, really. But then over here, there was already pre-existing tile. So that's why there's more of spacing in between, and there's like nothing here. So they didn't have to do quite as much extensive work here. So that's why it doesn't look quite as bad. They also didn't get to finish it. They ran out of tile today, so they're gonna have some more brought out here, and they're hopefully gonna finish tomorrow. We're supposed to get a lot of rain at the end, like tomorrow night, and then for a while it'll probably be kind of a pain to work on this stuff. So hopefully they can just finish up the stuff over here stuff. So I guess that's about it. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video.